Hello, everyone. Kim Victoria here with I'm trying something different, and I have an example here. This is tea bags, and I wanted to experiment with putting things inside of them. So this was my prototype, and I am creating this as participation for the hashtag JJ3 under 30 collaboration with Seven Plaza and Crafty by Toni. So I'm all set up, which, as you know, there is some time for setup or finding all your bits and pieces, but we're going to do three of these, and I'm going to do them a little differently than I did this one. And you're going to get to see the experiment. So let me get started. What I have are tea bags. Now, these are tea bags that we drink a lot of mint tea, and mint tea doesn't stain the tea bags. So what this particular ones, I went ahead and I used some distress ink and distressed it. But I was really kind of surprised that they didn't become a little bit more transparent with the leaf inside. It really is, yeah, it's translucent, but it didn't lighten up and become more transparent with the glue. So I thought, oh, let's see. Besides tea bags, I'm going to try tissue paper in a tea bag size, and I've got out a piece of napkin, one of the white parts, and I want to try it three different ways. So three under 30, and this is just kind of a fun thing. And when you get leaves, I press leaves every fall when I find them and put them in my put them in a book so that they can. But once you put glue on them and the water of the glue soaks in, they change from being crispy to being flexible. So that's kind of a fun thing. I had discovered that before. So let me see here. I want to have now on tea bags, what I like to do is I like to just peel off the little folded edge. So I just open these, I take I untie the thread at the top. I don't bother with the stapled ones. I get the ones with the tea we get that has it's a little knot tied at the top, and I do just untie it. And then I get some really nice tea bags. So I'm not going to ink these right away. And let's see, and so with the tissue paper, I want it to be kind of a tea bag size. So let me go ahead and let's get that going here. With that softer edge. Let's see. Yeah, that looks more like a tea bag that way. So I'm going for that look, but I'm trying it with some different materials. All right, so now we have the napkin. And these are the leaves I'm going to use. So let me put those aside. And I have a couple of pieces of, these are like cereal bags, and they're ideal for glue up. The other thing that I discovered with tea bags, though, that's pretty cool is that, yeah, I'm going to need a little help here, is that usually with tea bag, when we do faux rice paper, you do the white glue and you put it on a piece of plastic so that you can peel it off at the end. And the side that was against the plastic becomes shiny. And the tea bag, that was an interesting thing I discovered, is that the tea bag did not become shiny after it was dry. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so again, I'm going for a tea bag shape. A little bit of a raggy edge. That's okay. We have short tea bags. And I'm just kind of going to watch the clock here. make sure I stay within that 30 minutes, that magic number 30. All right. Well, just a little bit of prep work here, and I think I'm ready to go. So I'm going to do these all at once. Just one right after another after another. All right, so let me see. I'm going to use, well, this is the shortest one, so I'm going to use this little leaf for this one. So I will start up here, and what I have is a jar of, it's just Elmer's white glue that I've added some water to so that it's just a little bit runny. And I keep my brush in the water so that it doesn't stiffen up on me. So what I have found, especially after doing the first one, is the first thing I want to do is apply glue to the leaf. In the other one, I applied glue to the tea bag. And on this one, I'm going to apply the glue to the leaf first. And I'll show you why. And what I want to do is, remember, I'm going to have I think I'll turn it this other way. I'm going to have a staple at the top. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to push out air bubbles from this first side. Make sure that leaf is well glued down. So now I can go ahead and get the rest of this. This is napkin I'm working with right now. And I'm going to have to kind of figure it's going to be shiny on the back side after it's dry. That's the only thing I will not do on camera is go use the blow dryer. I'm getting some glue underneath that stem. So now that's nicely held down. So it's just like making faux rice paper. It's just that I'm creating a sandwich. And I'm putting that leaf on the inside of the sandwich. It's a little more fragile than a tea bag, so I'm being cautious here. And then finally get a fair amount of glue on the leaf itself. And of course, this is not sticking down yet, but it will. Okay. It's a different size, and that's okay. So I want to push out air bubbles. The air bubbles will come out pretty well from the napkin paper, but we want to get it off the leaf as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping this comes out just a little bit more translucent, a little more closer to transparent than the tea bag did. But I'm going to do another tea bag, only this time I'm not going to get it all inked up first. We're going to save the inking after it's dry, and then I'll know better where to put the ink and how much to distress it. Okay, so that one's ready. Let me go back to the tea bag, and I think I'll do another one of these dark leaves. I don't know what kind of a tree this came off of, in case you were wondering. Actually, I think this was off of an ivy. All right. Okay, now again, I want to get the air bubbles out of this side. Just push them out. and we'll see what happens. That looks good. So I can be a little more vigorous with a tea bag because a tea bag is pretty tough. So I can work a little faster. I think this is a fun idea that Margreth and Toni are doing. It's, yeah, I like the idea of having projects that you can do with minimal amount of setup, really. I mean, there is some setup. There's always a bit of setup, but you know, I'm very fortunate to have a studio space where I can set things up and just kind of leave them when I'm in the middle of a project or I have something like this going and I can set it up and then I can walk away and then I can come back and continue and that sort of thing. I didn't always have that kind of a space. So this is just really, really wonderful. But of course, if you don't have a dedicated space, it is possible. Well, actually, you can create dedicated spaces, even in small spaces. It's like have a little roll around cart, and it can't hold a lot of different supplies, but I knew a gal that lived in a very small one-bedroom apartment, and she had a roll around cart, and she was oil painting, and it served her just fine. But those of us that get into this paper crafting junk journal stuff, oh my, we do need space, don't we? I love it though. It's just such a wonderful thing to be able to have this space. I am very, very grateful. I'm having a lot more fun with it too because I do have that space. So one of the things that I did in the first one was that I went ahead and I glued my little label ephemera that I made when it was still wet, and that worked. And the ink I used were the distress inks, so they didn't smear at all when I was brushing the glue over the top. So that was good to know. On these, I think I'm just going to go ahead and wait. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do it afterward. But it did work, so that would be a possibility. Okay, so now this one is a little bigger, and I'm going to go for it anyway. It's a different way of making a specimen slide, you know? So we're coming up, amazing, you know, it's August. We're coming up on fall pretty quickly. So I am going to be looking for some different kinds of leaves. It's fun to have variety. A lot of fun to have variety. All right, so this one, a little tighter there. Now let me squeeze out the air bubbles. How am I doing? Oh, I'm doing really good on time. Okay. I think the idea, as much as possible, what Margaret and Toni are doing is trying to keep it in real time as much as possible. So it's believable, you know, that we really can do this project in 30 minutes. Now I am going to take a little break, but I'll count the time on it because I want to go dry these with the hair dryer. And you don't need to watch me drying paper. So we got this done in no time at all, which is wonderful. And let's see, which way do I want to go? Oh, yeah, that just makes it okay, super. Gotta remember to be a little bit delicate with the tissue paper, just like the napkin. But if we get a few wrinkles, that's nice too. It's kind of a different way of creating a specimen slide. I've never done it this way before, but I have thought about doing it. So here we have the opportunity, and you get to see you get to see it happen. And that's a good thing too. I do like doing these experiments and seeing how they turn out. And then when you experiment, you can take these ideas and do a little something extra on your own. I'm going to smush the edges just a tad, the way Natasha on Treasure Books does it. Just a little pushing in of the edges. This is the napkin again, and the reason I'm doing that is because the edges are very fragile, and if I kind of push it in a little bit, and I'll do that with the tissue paper too. I was just remembering that, and I'm like, I think that would be a good idea. And then I can pull it off from one of these scrunched edges. I didn't need to do that with the tea bag because it's strong stuff. Okay. I think that's probably enough. Okay. I am going to pause and go get these dry. Okay, it took about 5 minutes with the blow dryer to get these dry. And what I did was I'm just kind of peeling off that over glue stuff. Um, what I did was when I felt the paper was dry, I started to lift it. The reason, because I know that it's going to take longer. So, if you want to do this, by all means, you can just leave it overnight and then everything will get dry. And so probably these leaves inside are still a little bit damp, but that's okay. We can still work with it because the paper is all dry. And that was where I wanted to get to is if the paper is dry, we can finish making them and they can finish drying on their own. So this is the tea bag. This is the napkin, and that's tissue paper. And so as far as translucence, transparency, the levels of transparency, the tissue paper is the most opaque. And we can see the lines of the board underneath. I think we can take that away. I'll get that out of the way. So now you can kind of see how translucent these are. So we can see the lines of the board through here, only a little bit through the tissue paper, and quite well through the tea bag. But the leaf, it's it's like it didn't really adhere completely, even though I was pushing the air bubbles out. So I think that's the main thing of why it's not showing as well as I had hoped. The tissue paper, no, this is napkin. Keep it straight. It looks like the napkin did the best job at adhering to the leaf. So that's interesting. That's a good thing to know. Oh, yeah, let's go back for a minute. Okay, so all right, I've only got a few minutes left. So anyway, let me go ahead and yeah, we can we can do a little distressing on these, and I'll go with some vintage photo. I think I can do this. Let me see what happens. Yeah, sort of, kind of. It's very flexible. So there we go. Yeah, if I use this little brush, I can I can distress this a little easier, especially around the edges. Get a little bit of that. The tea dye, this distressing tea dye, when I tried that, it was just a little bit light. And it's just lovely for uh, making white paper, not so white. But on the tea bag, I mean, even though this was mint tea, it still has, there's a little color to it. Yeah, give it a little more distress. Don't have to get carried away, but a little. There we go. That's nice. I like that. And I'm just going to go ahead because this can go in a junk journal just fine. And the one thing that Toni and Margreth have is a true advantage is that they make a lot of this kind of ephemera, these labels and stuff. And I don't have a stash of that sort of thing. So that's something that I'm going to look at maybe making a little bit of. Most of my journals, what I do is I make the pieces specific for the theme of the journal I'm making. I don't, okay, well, it's there. I don't, make stuff in advance and then mix it all up. I like to make things as I need them for the theme. And I think that's come out really nice in the projects. I really like how that's worked out. Oh, and what's fun about these are from traditional medicinal teas. And what's fun is they have little quotes on the back. So I just like these labels. I think they're really, really nice. And they've got that little extra, a little quote on it. Now, if you have a mini stapler, that would be more like a standard tea bag. But I only have a normal big stapler, but that's okay. It works. Okay, so there's one. Let's set that aside. Let's go to, okay, this one is the napkin. Go ahead and give that a little color. And it's kind of crinkly, so I can, and since I didn't get a excellent translucency with the leaf, I'm not going to worry too much about it being obscured. I just want to get these finished. Now you can kind of see the shine going on there. So I haven't tried it, but I imagine just a little quick swipe with some sandpaper would probably do that. If I have time, I'll grab some sandpaper and we can try that out. Okay, so this is a smaller piece, so I think I will try a little bit different arrangement of the pieces. Yeah, well, when you're on a time deadline, you can't be too fussy, right? Just kind of put it down. Yeah, I don't want to cover the leaf, so I'll just have 3 separate pieces. And get another. These would also make kind of a cute bookmark, I think. They're actually sturdier than you might think they could be. Let's get this. can see where a tiny trimmer could be very nice. Let me cut off some of the excess. All right, number 2. Let's do number 3. Oh, what's its best side? Doesn't really have a best side, does it? Oh, we'll go with this one. There's a little bit of shine on this, but we can live with a little bit of shine. Anything with a silhouette would work. I will do more experiments and see how it works. There might be a way of maybe letting the glue soak into the leaf first before putting it down so that the leaf is more saturated. That might make a significant difference in not getting this separation because, if we think about it, maybe what happens is the leaves were soaking in the glue and I put it on the papers too quickly so that it was actually drying out even in those few seconds because the leaf is soaking up the glue. And yeah, I kind of think that might be what's going on. So that's an interesting concept. I think that would be worth a try, is to really saturate, let the leaf by itself sit on a piece of um, non-stick surface, whether it's wax paper or cereal bag or some other kind of plastic bag, and then just let it have a good soaking. I think that might make a big difference. So that is worth a try. That is definitely worth a try. And what do I have left? Yeah, let's put it right side up. There we go. And one more tea bag tag. What would work? Would work better. There we go. Use some tweezers. Oh yeah, definitely. If you have tweezers, use them. I wasn't thinking. Much better result. Okay, snip off that extra. I know what else I want to do. Let's see. Yeah. Get a little edging on that. I didn't do it on these, so let's do it on these. Hey, it isn't fair to not finish an experiment. It just, yeah. And it was the glue. I years ago I did some paper crafting with leaves and it worked. And I remember it working, and it was like, okay, what am I doing that isn't what I did before? You know? And it's the glue. Okay, it didn't work as well because, and I did some, what I did was I soaked some leaves and then I also just tried putting the glue on and just letting them sit, and it didn't work. It just sort of beat it up on top and the moisture went into the leaf, but it just didn't work. So I go like, okay, what do I gotta do? So I got out some acrylic matte medium. And Mod Podge would probably work because it is a type of acrylic medium. But this, a little dab will do you with this. It's fantastic how it did work. Let me show you. All of these leaves were crispy critters, like potato chips. I had pressed them and I have them in a box, but I mean, look at how supple that is with the matte medium. And I couldn't get that with the white glue. But look at that. Isn't that cool? It was crisp as a potato chip. And look at this beauty. Yeah. I mean, I could I could almost put that on a cover and it's kind of like leather. It's really, really neat. And that's with the matte medium. And this was one that I tried to put the white glue on and it just never would do anything. So I finally put the matte medium on and it's wonderful. And again, it was crisp as a potato chip. So that was all of these, and this one you can even see how it was already cracking and everything. And so matte medium, and it doesn't take much to work. So here's the result. Actually, that was the best one, I think. So this was napkin. I'm pretty sure this was the napkin. Oh, it's a little hard to tell between napkin and tissue paper. Now, I haven't taken these to completion, but this is napkin, and it's very supple. It's very translucent. So we have a better result with the leaf than this. And this is a little stiffer, but this is very, very, very supple. So that's with napkin. And this one, I believe, was the tissue paper. And the tissue paper still was more opaque. So that's a good thing to know that maybe, but it's an interesting effect. I haven't inked it yet. And matte medium can take ink just fine. So we move these little guys. So there's that. And there's that experiment. And so these were the tea dye. This was my first experiment. And then this is the one we did together. And it looks nice. I'm going to use these. These are great. But look at that result. Isn't that nice? But boy, look at how translucent with the matte medium the tea bag came out. And you can really see the leaf. And totally flexible. This one was actually broken into two pieces and was splitting and everything. And it's wonderful. So it's just kind of a fun experiment. So there we go. Let's see. Yeah, we'll make sure everything is in camera. So here we go. So there's the experiments, and so if you like to press leaves, and as we come up to fall, it's a wonderful thing to go out and get them when they're freshly fallen, and then get them into like an old catalog. If you have an old phone book, those are nice and absorbent, or get it between like newsprint or something like that, and put some weight on it, and then they're going to get really crisp. But then you can restore them with matte medium and probably Mod Podge. So these are all fun things to try. So I wanted you to see the whole experiment and not just leave you hanging without knowing, because this was with the white Elmer's glue and this is with the matte medium. And so yeah, so there you go. uh I hope this was helpful for sure. And I don't know, I love fall leaves. So it's going to be fun to play with, finding some more and doing more experimenting and play. But now I know the white glue is great for making the faux rice paper, but if you're going to put this kind of material in there, not so good. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, and have fun. All right. Bye for now.